So welcome everyone to Teachers for Teachers. That's you, Mom and Dad. And I'm Dr. Leah. I'm usually here with Dr. Dijanna, who is going to join us any minute now. But she had to go to her classroom to clean out and prepare for virtual learning this fall. So I will take this few moments to introduce our amazing panel of guests who are with us. And I'm going to start with Mark Riddle, who Mark has degrees in music and theology and sociology. He works at West Coast University and he lives in Los Angeles. And also with us is Anne McMullen. Anne is an accomplished and respected educational consultant in Los Angeles and is the project director for COSNS, which is Empowered Superintendents Program, and the author of Life Lessons in Leadership. And Tim Griffin is with us, and Tim is a retired STEM teacher who is an award-winning singer, songwriter, and storyteller, and I met him through his music. Griffin Ed is the name of his nonprofit, and you can access all of this amazing educational music for free at Griffin Ed. Donations are always welcomed, of course, but it is available and I think should be in a Muzak in all classrooms or schools because it's just so helpful for kids. And Dr. Dijanna will join us shortly, but at this point we're really talking today about what are free opportunities that maybe used to you had to be local to enjoy them, and now we really could access it from anywhere. And you sent me some great information. Maybe you could talk a little bit about one of them.
I would love to do that. Leah, are we running the slides with this or
We
not?
are. Brandon's here helping me out, so he will show whichever one. Well, go ahead and put one up, and Anne will talk about it. And
Okay.
Dr. Dijanna is just joining us.
Yeah. So yes, one of the joys of living in Los Angeles is that there are so many fabulous places to go to visit, to learn, to see, and it's so exciting. But of course, now we're kind of limited on where we can go and what we can do. Three of my favorites I'm really happy to talk with you about today. It's odd, they turned out being the three G's, but the Getty Center, the Grammy Museum, and the Griffith Auditorium. And I started snooping around on all three of those websites to see, so what's going on there and what kind of things are there. And really what all three of those organizations are providing for, as you see on the screen there, that start with the Getty at home. All three of them are doing things that, and hello, Dijanna, welcome. We're glad to have you here too. So I'll walk through real quickly some of these, and I invite Tim, Mark, Dijanna, Leah to join in if you've got anything to add on that. But what I've put on each of the slides are the links to get to these, but these are all free resources. So starting with the Getty, they have something called the Getty at Home. And there you can find a number of different resources. I listed some of them on the side of the slide there. So things that tie in with the exhibits that are at the Getty, but you make your own at home. So things like creating a royal crown that looks similar to the crowns that they have on display there. And of course you can see the displays virtually and then pull that together. Or I love this one, bake bread like an ancient Roman, and the recipe is there and how to walk through and do that. Or crafting an artful bouquet with paper flowers, again, looking at the various exhibits that are there and making your own. Or making an ancient roof ornament for a home, again, based on that. Or creating a cup for an ancient style party or an ancient musical instrument, which I know Tim could do in a minute, but yeah, to create that ancient musical instrument or draw a 3D looking ancient temple. And there are many more there. Those are particularly geared for maybe ages 5 to 12 or something like that. But they also have another one there that I didn't quite put on the list, but it's a photography app for teens to begin to do photography and post it and get some direction on how to do that. So the Getty is always a fabulous place to visit. Now you can visit it virtually, and you can be creating your own artifacts with your kids to do that.
And you know,
The
a
second,
lot of those things that you talked about in that list were things that we used to do at the warehouse when
yeah,
we were able to have
yeah,
kids in. We've done like birthday parties where they made crowns and capes and wands and special potions, and
yeah,
now it's we're not able to do it at the warehouse, but
yeah.
I'm excited to see these things as options being offered.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. And the Grammy has always been one of my very favorite places to go to, but all three of these are really favorites. And with the Grammy, they have a special site, as you can see that I've put on that slide, which is called Grammy Museum at Home. And again, recognizing that folks can't go there anymore, but they have it divided, as you see, into three main sections there. One is the exhibits at home, so you can view the Grammy exhibits there in your home. But the second one, education at home, obviously caught my eye. And what are some lessons and things that you can learn there? And then specific programs that they have had at the Grammy that you can now see. But I want to pop back just real quickly to the education at home, and I'm not going to give you the whole list, but every week they put up a different set of resources. For example, last week it was a mini lesson on problem solving, which consisted of 15 videos with 15 lesson plans that they have done in conjunction with the USC Thornton School of Music. And the week before it was on networking, and another one on creativity. And these are all still there. So if you don't catch it during that week, you can go back and do that. And these are going back all the way through the summer. So that's actually the next slide on the Grammy that we were looking at. And they have the hashtag museum at home. And again, it's just ways to access different resources that the Grammy has provided. And then the last one is this one on the Griffith Observatory, which I happened to be visiting my son this week, and he was telling me that he and his wife had gone up to see the comet in the sky, that's coming around right now. And so two of these items that are available at the Griffith Observatory website, one is called All Space Considered Remote, and it's a special program that's on every Friday, or the first Friday of every month, and the next one is going to be Friday, August the 7th, where different scientists talk about what you're seeing in the sky and things that are happening. And then the other one that's up there is What's in the Sky and What Can You Observe from Home. And they have links there to things like an evening sky chart, a night sky chart, a morning sky chart. So to identify right now from this area, what are you seeing in the sky, and what is it? So just some fun things to look at. And since we can't go to any of these fabulous places in person, we can still take advantage of all the great, good things that they provide for us.
Hmm. What it requires is the internet. And even that is a challenge for some.
Yes,
But
it
it
is.
does open up the ability to visit these places virtually and experience things that you wouldn't normally. And I wonder if we could expand that out to international locations. I bet there are museums around the
Absolutely.
world that we could now access that we couldn't previously without an airline ticket and a hotel
Right.
expense.
Next week, the Louvre, right? And that's what
Yes, yes.
we're
Dijanna, Dr. Dijanna, welcome.
Hello, everyone. I am so glad to be here. And thank you so much for sharing all of those resources. I mean, it's kind of a really cool place that we're in where we have this
yeah,
ability to reach out and visit all of these really amazing aquariums, museums, etc., science centers. But as Leah said, that equity piece, we really need to work on making sure that everybody has access to the internet. And I know that teams in Silicon Valley are working on that. I've seen like balloons deploying different types of wireless devices and hotspots, but we're not quite there yet. So I thank you for bringing that up, Leah. We have all of these amazing resources, but we're also really hoping to work toward a society where all have access to these resources for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I know I wanted to share a really cool one that I found on social media, which kind of connects to what you were talking about, Anne, when you were sharing all of the Getty Center's resources. The Getty Center also started this amazing social media campaign, which is called the Getty Museum Challenge.
I love
Okay.
it.
which is kind of cool. I haven't been to the Getty myself, but you can go virtually online and you can view a lot of their galleries and a lot of the work there. But the challenge that the Getty Museum has done is challenged everyone who happens to be at home to recreate some of these masterpieces with just the random stuff that they have around the house and post it on social media hashtag Getty Museum Challenge. So all around the world, people have been able to use whatever they have around their house, whether it's pets, whether it's in their vegetable garden, whether they're drawing in markers, they've been recreating masterpieces. What an amazing way to engage not only in art, creativity, but also art history. Like I learned a lot about these different artists that I had no idea. So I think I shared some. I just went through the Twitter feed, hashtag Getty Museum Challenge, and I saw some really cool ones. So Brandon, can you share that? I don't know if you got that set up for me, but you can share that screen.
Well, if he doesn't have that, we'll give him a couple minutes. Did you email them to us?
I did.
To Brandon as well. He'll find them and pull those up. So
we have an opportunity to talk about the power of social media and how we can share our creativity through social media. So I just wanted to bring that up at the panel on how educators, students, parents, what do you think are some suggestions on how we can use the power of social media for good in terms of sharing our creativity? I know as a parent of preteens, I worry a lot about social media and the impact that it's having on my children, but I think this might be a way for us to frame it as some positive impacts that social media can have in terms of creativity. I want to throw it to Tim first because I know he's one of the creative people in the bunch, and I'm sure you've played with this in terms of sharing some of your work and using different social media in terms of sharing creativity. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll tell you what I love about the Getty Challenge, particularly in the time of the pandemic, is that you're taking one medium and then juxtaposing it into another. And what that does is it sort of frees us up to be more creative, to lower the affective filter, because we know we're not trying to paint the Mona Lisa. And we're not even trying to get an exact photo replica of the Mona Lisa. We're trying to have fun interpreting it. And that gives us permission to, okay, if you want to find a way to use your dog in the picture, for example, instead of the little angel baby or whatever it is that you're trying to make, it makes it feel a lot safer for people who normally would start getting anxious about doing something creative. The other thing I like about it is the fact that we're limited to the things we've got in our home. And that, again, reduces the anxiety. I'll tell you a true story. When I used to teach kindergarten, I did a lot of art with my students. Now, if you give one child the regular box with 16 colors of crayons, and then you give another child, I not like to make them jealous, but you give another kid, out of sight of the first one, the great big box that's got 256 colors, the really big one that's even got its own little sharpener on it. Now, which kid is going to be more anxious about drawing?
The one with more colors.
Exactly, because he's going to be worried about picking the wrong color. They're going to be looking at all those colors and thinking about which color is this the right color for the sky? Is this the right color? There's like 20 kinds of blue. Whereas the one who's got 16 colors, they've got one kind of blue, and they're just going to go for it. So there's a lot less, overthinking involved. And it's not just true for kids; it's true for grown-ups too. I used to film all my videos with a little GoPro type camera that I could stick on a tripod. It had one setting; it was on. If it wasn't on, it was off. So we made videos. Now, because Griffin Ed got a grant to to do our own little live action videos, we had to go spend some money. So we got some nice panel lights, with the LEDs, and we got this fancy DSLR camera. It's got 15 buttons and 20 little twiddly bits and all kinds of icons. I can't even tell what they are. And half the buttons are pressure sensitive. So it does one thing if you touch it, Another thing, if you press it gently, but if you press it down to click it, it does something else. And all of a sudden my anxiety level about making live videos has gone through the roof. I'm completely worried about getting the wrong setting. You know, I have to choose from 1 to 20 in terms of how of the light dynamics, and I'm not even sure what those are. But if it recommends an 8, what if I choose a 9? Is it going to suck if I choose a 9 instead of an 8? And you know, the only thing that's saving me here is I've got a teenage nephew who lives with us, and for 2 years he's been taking classes over at the high school where they do webcasting, and so he's done videos for the marching band and all these other things. He's like, you know, relax, Uncle Tim, I got this. And so I said, fine, you're hired. And but that's kind of how it goes with creativity. You want to have the tools that you need, but not too much extra. So for the families that are worried about whether they've got, you know, well, where am I going to get these costumes for, you know, to recreate this painting? Well, we're in Los Angeles, so if you had $400 and you know where to go, you can go get the exact costume you need for a rental. But you don't need that. Just have fun with what's in your house. And you know, and that's the main thing, is to have fun. That's the point of it.
Absolutely. It's all about joy. It's all about joy. And I just did a quick little Google search here, hashtag Getty Museum Challenge. And I want to show you guys some of the beautiful things that show up here. Okay. I mean, come on here. This one right here, that's a potato.
Really?
I love the screaming potato.
A screaming potato right there. And here, I'm not quite sure what this art is here, but it looks like the collar is made out of toilet paper roll.
It is.
I just love it. It's just kind of, you know, whatever you've got. Look at this one right here with the doggy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just, and then these are people all over the world submitting their renditions. Here's one of my faves right here of Frida Kahlo with, we're just having green laundry detergent and kitchen supplies right there, you know? Make it work with whatever you have. It just goes on.
They
and on
are great.
on.
Right? And imaginative.
Seriously. I mean, this couple right here to recreate this one, all they needed was some white sheets. So you can get really, really creative, and just kind of go out there. Take a classic. Oh, look at this kid right here. I love it. You know,
fun.
take a classic and make it your own. This one right here, the woman with the dog by the lake. We have the child with her dog by the pool.
That's
It
true.
just, you can go on and on and on and really do some cool things engaging. This one's pretty cool here. It says City Lifestyle, the Getty Museum Challenge. This one was just made with peas and different things that are in the kitchen.
Oh.
That is wonderful. That's the thing about not having to go out and spend money. You have to use just your imagination, and being restricted to finding things that you have in your home adds another layer of that. It's fabulous.
It's absolutely magical. You take something that's a masterpiece, and with a little creativity, imagination, and fun, you can create something completely different. And let me tell you, the kids have a blast. They have no idea. I'm going to share next time. It didn't go through, but we did this at our own home. And we have a whole series of these crazy pictures with us with the toilet paper roll collars and holding a fruit basket, different random things that we did. We even did one, we tried to do one with Legos and recreating masterpieces with Legos because we happen to have Legos at the home.
You are ambitious.
You know, anything that'll help us engage in having fun, being creative, and like you said, Tim, lowering the stakes. I don't expect my children to produce Rembrandts, but we can still engage in really creative, playful learning with some of these challenges. And the fact that it's social and you can put a hashtag on it and put it and play with the entire world, that takes it on another level.
Yeah, Dijanna, that's what I was thinking of as you were showing that. Not only is it a tremendous fun thing for the people to do, but the joy of just seeing that. I mean, you could see that with us and how we reacted when you were showing those pictures. That's just such a gift to just be able to put a smile on some people's faces and look at that creativity. Those are wonderful.
So,
I
Mark,
can't wait
which
to see
of
the ones
the
from your family.
masters do you think you will recreate this week?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. I was thinking though, about what Tim was saying about sort of the accessibility factor and being challenged to use the materials you have. And I also think about, most kids' reaction to the art that we drag them to museums to see. When you look at these, 17th century masters, it's got this heavy feel to it. It feels like it's formal and it's somebody else's stuff, but being able to kind of mock that gives you access to the art that you might not have had otherwise. And a lot of arts, especially modern arts, got a lot of playfulness or political messaging, sarcasm even. And if you're just standing there and trying to be quiet in front of it, you're going to miss a lot of that. But if you open up to the possibility that the artist was trying to do something funny here, then you have access to art that you might not have had otherwise. As long as you gather the toilet paper rolls around to make your fancy 17th century collar, you might as well do something, with the cat with it too, right? I mean, you use the materials to make some modern art now. The stuff's all gathered together.
Oh my gosh, I just found one with the cat that I really want to share with you guys. Can I share it?
Please do.
It's making me laugh out loud. Okay, here we go. So there's the masterpiece right there. Girl with the pearl earring.
Yes.
Oh, look.
Perfect.
That's lovely.
There you
She's
go.
looking right at us too.
Right?
And
then,
the expression on the cat's face is what really makes it work. He's like, just kind of making up his mind whether he's going to kill you or not.
there was one more on this page that I thought was really good too. Let's see this one right here. So this is Salvador Dali's Isolation.
Yeah.
And there's the recreation of it right there in the kitchen. There you go.
I do like that. And what you were saying, Mark, about like the way you can view those old masters if you're actually looking at them for ways to have a fun interpretation of it. That's really engaging. So I think one of the other free projects for this summer would be to send people to Griffin Ed to listen to music, because I think getting it to that 5, 6, 7-year-old group where they learn the songs because the songs are really catchy, and the education is just sort of a natural follow-up. I mean, I've said this more than once, but I have been playing those in the car for the kids from the time Hollis was 3. She's now 11. And Otto is 6, and he's been listening to them the whole time. And the educational portion of it is invaluable. And the music's fine with me.
Well, thank you. Well, one thing that I actually just had a suggestion from a friend that would be kind of a neat project for kids that would cost nothing, that they could just do online. We've been working on making videos for some of our songs, and a friend pointed out that with some of our history songs, kids could just go find pictures online and just use PowerPoint or something like that to just make a slideshow to go with the song. We have a song about Amelia Earhart. So you could find pictures of her and her airplane and some of the cities that she went to visit, and sort of make your own little musical slideshow.
That's a great suggestion.
I think it all highlights the power of, creative exploration in learning, right? Creativity. I actually want to go to one of your songwriting camps as an educator, and even parents out there to just kind of take, I'm listening to what my kids are listening to right now, like whatever kind of is popping for them right now. And I'm thinking, oh, I could probably translate that and put a little information and make a little quick science parody. And
Sure.
they love that stuff.
It's a lot of fun, and what one thing we've been working on is how do we, since obviously I'm not going to be going into any schools for songwriting residencies anytime soon, but what I can do is offer to teachers to do a virtual residency where if they want me to work with them in their class, we can correspond via email or Zoom or whatever they want to do, and get the kids to do the work, where they're going to do the research, they're going to figure out what's the story they need to tell, what's the key vocabulary. And then they're going to, they can write out couplets and they don't have to worry about whether it rhymes or has good scansion or whatever, just draft it. And then, and then what I can do is go through what they wrote, do what teachers call sentence lifting, where you take little bits and pieces from different kids' work. And then I can tweak the scansion and the way they're saying it to give it a beat and set it to a tune that they can already sing. And then we've got a study tool.
And when you put music to any of that stuff, it stays in the memory.
Absolutely. I mean, this could be something that you could offer to teachers, and you could also offer it to parents, because I know a lot of parents are coming together and formulating pods that their kids are going to be engaging in distance learning together, small groups or whatnot. So this could be an opportunity for you parents out there. Go please check out Griffin Ed and see if there's some sort of connection, because this might be a way to take that distance learning experience and make it a little bit more engaging and enriching on top of what they're doing.
I also highly recommend getting a pet. I know Dr. Dijanna got 2 cats for her kids. I have been doing this whole half hour while trying to manage a very rambunctious 1-year-old puppy. I think she's popped into frame a couple of times.
Leah, she has, and of course I've noticed Mark has his cat there as well, and I'm just thinking we need to see both of those animals next week in some classic painting mode.
Good idea, and I will work on it with the grandkids this weekend.
I think that's a creativity challenge for everybody that's on this panel to see what are we going to come up with next week. Let's do that Getty Museum challenge. And I want to see Charlie the dog in one of them. And Mark, I don't know what your cats' names are, but
Abby over here, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, challenge accepted.
All right, Tim, what do we have at your house? Dogs, cats?
We have 3 dogs. We've got chickens and ducks.
Oh, well, you got us all.
Do something with the chickens, yeah. So it is the challenge that we're all gonna turn something in on Friday.
That's correct.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'm in.
And Anne, do you have a pet?
We do not have a pet, sadly. What we do have is all the neighborhood dogs. We put out little dog treats in a water bowl, and so when people are walking their dogs, we adopt all the other dogs, but I don't think I can grab them to do this. But I'll be happy to watch what all you guys put together. This is terrific.
You might have to be the narrator for that portion of the stream.
Or if you change your mind, we can come and bail you out.
Yeah. If I could add one thing, I've never done a project quite like this one with my students in my classroom, but there are all kinds of other ways you can get kids to engage with art that invites them to bring some of their own creativity to the task. Whenever I presented a classic painting to the kids, ask them to look at the painting and then sort of take it one step beyond what's given to you. So with the Mona Lisa, for example, I would ask them, I want you to write a paragraph that explains what she's smiling about. Why is she smiling?
Nice.
And some of the answers that the kids come up with are fantastic. She's smiling because she knows what you did last summer.
It's a great way to engage them.
Yeah.
Get them thinking about the human side of the development of that.
And to give them permission to interact with the art, because it's usually when we're doing these great works, it's sort of like, okay, I'm not worthy, but here's this great thing, and I'm supposed to just let it, I'm supposed to absorb it. You're not supposed to absorb art. You're supposed to engage with it. It's supposed to make you laugh or get angry or maybe frighten you a little bit sometimes. What is the artist trying to say, and what is your response? And your response is the correct response for you. It doesn't have to be the same thing that somebody with a PhD says.
So true. And now a couple of people with PhDs are going to say goodbye. Because we're up to a half hour now. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. And Dijanna,
I got to go take some pictures of my chickens now.
I love it. Oh my gosh, it's always a joy. The panel is amazing. And thank you out there for watching. I'm Dr. Dijanna, and I'm here with Dr. Leah. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Teachers for Teachers. That's you, moms and dads. We hope to see you again soon.